Hey, everybody, welcome back to the movie shelf. That's where we take a movie off the shelf, watch it, rate it, and put it up against all the other movies on the shelf. Now, sometimes they're not from the shelf, but this will include any movie ever. It's fair game. I'll watch it based on your guys' suggestions, and I'll rank it, and we'll put it up in a list with the other films. All right. So, this one does come by suggestion, and it comes from my very own flesh and blood. My daughter Emily wanted me to watch 2010's Frozen. No, not the Disney movie, the horror movie Frozen from 2010. Adam Green directed it, he wrote it. Let me give you a little bit of backstory on the film. It's a ski resort, and Adam Green had never been to a ski resort until he wrote this film. Actually, the first time he set foot on one was when they began principal photography for this film. It stars Emma Bell as Parker O'Neill, and her boyfriend Kevin Zegers plays Dan Walker, which is her boyfriend in the film, and then Sean Ashmore plays Joe Lynch, the best friend of the guy character, not the female character. So it's two buddies whose girlfriend basically slid her way into the trip, and there may or may not be some animosity there from the part of the friend, but worth watching. So here we go. They're at a ski resort. They don't buy lift tickets. They ask the guy at the gate, whose his name is Jason in the film. It's played by Ed Ackerman. He's the lift operator. They basically coerce him into letting them go up on the mountain on the lift for $100 for all three of them. I don't know how much a lift ticket is, but that seems like it wouldn't be that much more, and they could just go. But who knows? Who knows? If you know, let me know in the comments. How much is a lift ticket? I have no idea. All right, so he lets them go. They go up on the mountain, and she's just learning how to ski. So they take all the low runs first, and they decide, man, we came all the way up here and we never got to make the big run because we were training her all day. Maybe we can convince the guy to let us go up one last time. So they do. Shift change. That guy exits. Nobody knows they're up there. Everything gets shut off while they're on the lift. And that sets this up for you. So Emma Bell's character, Parker, she remembers that they're there on a Sunday, and they said they will not be open up again until next Friday, the following weekend. So when they're sitting there and the lights go out, she begins to think, we're going to be up here for a week without anybody knowing about us. It's scary. It's a scary prospect. There's a lot of what ifs that go into this. What would you do? I would like to think that I would wait as long as I possibly could to do anything. And that means like I'd wait till I was like either so cold or frostbitten or something. I wouldn't make a plan for that day. I mean, that evening. I would at least wait till morning and scope things out. But they get the ball rolling a little bit quicker than that, and it doesn't really work out in their favor. You should definitely check this film out. I don't want to give too many spoilers on it. That's why I'm keeping it a little bit ambiguous. I will tell you that there were wolves on the set for 4 days of filming. So if that's any indicator of some things to come, so be it. Let's talk about some cool things that I know about this film. Basically, it's all filmed practically. There's no sound stage, no green screens, no CGI. The actors and actresses truly were suspended over 50 feet in the air on the side of a real mountain. This mountain was in Ogden, Utah. In the film, it's supposed to be in Vermont, and I forget the name of the mountain, but it's the name of Adam Green's hometown. What's some other cool? There's a cameo by a guy named Kane Hodder. He plays a character named Cody. Now, anybody that knows the name Kane Hodder would know that he has played Jason Voorhees in the Friday the 13th movies several times. He's actually probably the most popular along with CJ Graham. So there's that bit. It's a very small role, but he's a very noticeable man, very sizable man if you are familiar with his work. The place where they shot, this is interesting, is supposedly haunted by a suicide victim. This person killed themselves in the very spot they filmed this a year before. Now, the person committed suicide with a gun on chair 92. You can tell that this is true because there's a hole in the seat from said gun blast. The cast and crew actually used chair 75 for their filming. So I don't know if that means anything to you in particular. Emma Bell was the first person cast in this film. And after sitting through weeks of others' auditions, Adam Green hired her for the role because she just set the bar too high. I mean, she is really, really good in this film. She was the first to audition, but not the first to get the role. The first to get the role was good friends with Adam Green, and that was the guy that played Dan Walker, Kevin Zegers. So there's that. There's a couple things about the cameraman. It was mostly filmed by Adam Green himself because all the other cameramen were too afraid to be at that height filming. And it's funny because Adam Green himself suffers from a fear of heights. I don't remember what the phobia is, but he's got it. I've got it. I actually love heights. My body doesn't love heights. If I look down, my knees get all wobbly, but I love and I'm fascinated by being up high. It's just what it is. But my body's like, nope, we're not supposed to be here. Not today. So there's that. Twisted Sister's Dee Snider, actually, his voice appears in the film from the top of the mountain when they're trying to clear the way. He says, "Last call, all is through." Something along those lines. But that's Dee Snider from Twisted Sister, one of the ugliest musicians to ever walk the face of the earth. This I thought was pretty cool. Adam Green uses much of the same crew for all of his films. Whenever possible, he likes to work with his friends. Well, in this film, while they're still in the hotel or the lodge, there's a missing persons poster. And the missing person on the picture, his name is BJ McDowell, and he's the usual photographer or cameraman that works with Adam Green on his films. But he was not there because of previous commitment to film Halloween 2 with Rob Zombie. And he says, I love BJ McDonnell. This was more of a shout out than a dig at the missing person, which is kind of cool. I like stuff like that in films. Stanley Kubrick he is my favorite director of all time. He was very starting to look like him a little bit. He was very known for putting strange messages, alternate hidden meanings and things in his films based on props or positioning of things. So I always give a shout out to those types of things. There's Adam Green was in a band. They have a song on the soundtrack. It's performing right after Parker strikes the deal with the lift operator to allow them to go up. The song's called Among the Dogs, and it's by Adam Green's former band, which was called, get this, Haddonfield. That's a weird connection, you guys. I don't know if you know what Haddonfield is, but it's the town where Michael Myers is from. So it's kind of funny that his cameraman, BJ McDonald, was working on a Halloween film. Anyway, there's just there's not much to that, but it's interesting for sure. What else do I want to say about this film? There was an uncut version of a scene where Dan is actually devoured by the wolves. But they cut the scene because I don't know if it would have furthered the rating beyond R. But he just said that the blood, like the goriness of it, didn't fit with the rest of the film. A lot of the terror in this film is psychological. I will say that. You know, what would you do if you're stranded 55 feet above the ground on a lift in the middle of a storm? What do you do? Do you try and climb up? And they try everything that you would possibly think of. And I'm not going to reveal if it works or who gets out, if anybody gets out. This film was a small budget film. I couldn't find the exact dollar amount that was spent to make the film. I do know that it made almost $4 million worldwide, which doesn't seem like a ton of money, but the amount it's enough. I mean, for an independent film like this, it definitely feels like that's enough. Furthering the horror aspects of this film, the production company that worked on the film is called A Bigger Boat. Of course, that's a reference to 1975's Jaws, where he says we're going to need a bigger boat. That's really all I have on this film. I enjoyed it. I enjoy horror films in general, especially if they're done well and there's something that can really happen. If you start throwing supernatural stuff in there, that's where a lot of horror films these days lose me, because they just go too far. This one does not go too far. It's very well within the realm of possibility, which is what makes it terrifying, because it could happen to any one of us. That said, it's not a great film. All right, the greats like Casablanca, Citizen Kane, which we'll get to, I'm sure somebody's going to bring that up before I decide to just do it. It's not in the ranks with those films, and quite frankly, I'm going to give this film a 72.4. 72.4, which puts this 8th on the list of all time right now. There's only 8 films we've done, so this is the lowest rated film on the list so far. That wraps up my review for Frozen. Emily, let me know in the comments if you disagree. I think that's a pretty fair rating. It's nowhere near The Shining, which is a 95, and just a mark of perfection. But I'm up for the criticism if you guys want to throw it at me. But as always, tell me in the comments what you want me to review. We'll get right at it. Until then, thank you for watching the Movie Shelf.